Welcome to the Heartbreak Chronicles, where every story is a raw reflection of life. Hit that subscribe button to stay tuned, give us a like to show your support, and share this episode with your friends. Don't forget to leave a comment and let us know what you think. Now, let's dive into today's story. My name is Zack. I'm 40 years old and I work for a home remodeling company. I met my wife Emma 12 years ago on a blind date. To be honest, I wasn't interested in dating at all, but my best friend Mark from high school half forced me to go. However, the moment I saw Emma, I fell in love with her. Mark sensed this and skillfully created opportunities for us to talk. That's how we started our relationship and eventually moved on to marriage. Emma is 3 years younger than me and is a kindergarten teacher. After 4 years of marriage, our daughter Lily was born and she is now 8 years old. Emma took maternity leave after giving birth to Lily, but soon sent her daughter to another kindergarten and went back to work. To be honest, my heart wanted her to be a full-time mom until Lily started elementary school, but I knew Emma loved her career, so I kept it to myself. Nevertheless, our family life is harmonious. I don't think I have anything to complain about. Everything is calm and beautiful. However, this piece was only my wishful thinking. Mark and I still keep in touch and see each other about once every 3 months. Mark excelled in his studies from a young age and now works in his family's law firm. He's from a good family, and he's better than me in every way, but for some reason, we just get along. Besides, if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have met Emma. One day, Mark asked me out for a drink after a long time. I went to the bar we always went to and found him already sitting at the bar. "Hey man, long time no see," I greeted. "You look a lot older." Mark laughed and responded, "Same to each other, I guess." As usual, we drank and chatted about the past and recent events. Mark got married 10 years ago and now has 2 children. "Isn't Lily the only one in your family?" he asked. "Yeah, Emma's so focused on her work, we thought one kid would be enough," I replied. While we were chatting, Mark got up and went to the restroom. His cell phone was sitting on the bar, and suddenly, a message popped up. I couldn't read the contents, but the sender's name was clearly Emma. A twinge of doubt rose in me. Mark's been to my house before, but it's not like he and Emma are in constant contact. Maybe it's just the same name, but I still think there's something wrong with it. When Mark came back, I pretended not to notice anything. We talked for a while longer, then decided it was time to go home. "Let's drink together next time," I said. "Yeah, I'll see you later," Mark replied. I returned home with an inexplicable uneasiness. Although I had told Emma that I was having drinks with a friend tonight and would be late, I hadn't specified that it would be with Mark. Emma's still awake, watching a DVD in the living room. "Welcome back," she said. "You didn't drink too much tonight, did you?" "Well, I had a nice chat with Mark, and before I knew it, before I could finish my sentence, I noticed Emma's expression change for a moment. "Oh, so you're drinking with Mark." She sounded a little unnatural. This subtle reaction deepened my suspicions. When Emma fell asleep, I secretly checked her cell phone. The password was Lily's birthday. It was easy to guess. I went through her texts, but found nothing suspicious. Maybe they're using other apps to connect? I checked her social media apps again, and still nothing. Just as I was about to put my phone back down, a new message came in. It was from Mark. "Sorry for the late reply. I'm actually having a drink with your husband today. It looks like he hasn't gotten suspicious yet. Good night." I felt like my whole world was falling apart. My beloved wife and best friend, they betrayed me. I don't know how long this relationship lasted, but apparently Emma deleted every message she received. I instinctively deleted this message from Mark. I don't know when they started this relationship, but it was obvious that Mark asked me out for a drink to test the waters and see if I sensed anything. At that moment, I felt like I had lost my favorite wife and my best friend. I was shaking with anger, but I knew I had to check the facts first. If you ask Emma directly, without proof, she'll deny it and the matter will be closed. The next day, I immediately started looking for a private investigator. But every detective agency is expensive. Since Emma manages the family's finances, it would be suspicious if I suddenly withdrew a large sum of money from the account. I had no choice but to pawn the watch I bought before we got married and use the money to hire a private investigator to look into Emma and Mark's relationship. While waiting for the results of the investigation, Emma's behavior appeared to be no different than usual. She still checks Lily's homework, cooks, takes care of the family. If it wasn't for that accidental text message, I would have thought we were just a normal, happy family. But I know it's all an illusion. I anxiously await the day when the truth comes out. About 3 weeks later, the results of the investigation came in. When I read the contents of the report, I felt like my world had completely collapsed. Emma and Mark's relationship has surprisingly lasted a full 7 years. Not only that, but Mark hooked up with a legal secretary at the law firm where he worked. According to the legal secretary, she used to be Mark's girlfriend, but after Mark started dating Emma, Mark gave her a breakup fee. Now that she's working at another law firm, she's willing to come clean. I couldn't accept that I had been lied to for 7 whole years. At that time, my mind went blank and I felt like I was going to faint. Tears of sadness and anger flowed uncontrollably. What's even more heartbreaking is that Lily was only 1 year old 7 years ago. Don't they even care about the kids? I couldn't help but ask Lily, "Honey, Mommy goes out a lot on the weekends. Do you go with her all the time?" Lily innocently replied, "No, Dad. I'm a big boy now. I can watch the house by myself. My mom used to drop me off at my aunt's house sometimes." I immediately contacted Emma's sister, who confirmed Lily's story. Yes, Emma used to send Lily to me. Not in the last few years, though. "Zack, you've been working hard this weekend, haven't you?" My heart stung again. Emma has left her young daughter alone in the house, or entrusted it to someone else at will, in order to have a rendezvous with Mark. I am beyond angry and disappointed in Emma for what she did. After learning all this, I decided to make them pay. I'm going to take away everything Emma holds dear, and at the same time, I'm going to make Mark's reputation in the community disappear. I began to carefully plan my revenge. The next Sunday, I told Emma I was working late. Sure enough, it wasn't long before I overheard Emma's conversation with Mark through the bug installed in her bag. "This hotel is fantastic," came Emma's voice. "You don't get to come to places like this when you're with Zack." "I'd pay for a more expensive hotel," Mark replied. "You're the most important person to me." Apparently, they chose a fancy hotel. Considering that Mark's income is much higher than mine, this is not surprising. Next, I heard a conversation that shocked me even more. Mark says, "Remember that time 7 years ago when Zack got so drunk I drove him home?" Emma smiled and responded, "Of course I remember. I just got out of the shower, and I was shocked to see you guys show up at the door." After that day, our relationship changed. Mark continued, "Yeah, the thrill of that night was unforgettable," Emma chimed in. "You threw Zack on the couch, and then we were in the bedroom. I can't listen to it anymore." It turns out that the two people I trusted the most betrayed me in my bed that night when I was drunk out of my mind. The realization sent a wave of revulsion through me. I turned off the wire and rushed home. Despite all the anger and pain inside, I was more worried about Lily's safety. When I got home, I saw Lily sitting alone in front of the TV. She was so happy to see me back that she jumped into my arms. I hugged her tightly and swore to myself that I would protect Lily no matter what happened next. I realized that divorce was inevitable, and I'm going to get custody of Lily. As hard as the next few days may be, I have to be strong for Lily. Over the next few days, I began to take action. First, I described Mark's misconduct in detail in the online comments section of his law firm. These are the facts, and I'm sure it will be a serious blow to his career. I then sent the evidence I had gathered to Mark's wife. I believe she has a right to know the truth. Finally, I anonymously sent a report of Emma's misbehavior to the kindergarten where she worked. I know it may cost her her job, but I think it's the punishment she deserves. When Emma came home that night, she was visibly shocked to see me sitting in the living room. "You're home early today," she said. "I just went to the grocery store to pick up a few things." I calmly replied, "Emma, I've been home for 4 hours. Besides, you don't have any shopping in your bag." Emma's face instantly turned pale. I took the bug out of her bag, looked her straight in the eye and said, "Did you and Mark have fun at the fancy hotel?" Emma looked at me in horror, unable to say a word. "You have lied to me for 7 whole years," I said coldly, "and now it is time to pay for your behavior." Over the next few weeks, things moved as quickly as I expected. Emma and I have begun divorce proceedings. and the process has been more difficult and complicated than I could have imagined. When I offered to fight for primary custody of Lily, Emma screamed hysterically that I couldn't do that to her. But when I presented evidence in court of her chronic neglect of the children, leaving young Lily alone or entrusting her care to others at will, the judge clearly expressed her displeasure with Emma's behavior. Ultimately, taking into account the best interests of the child, the court ruled that I get primary custody of Lily. Emma is allowed to visit her children at certain times, but only with supervision. Seeing the look of despair on Emma's face caused a twinge of intolerance within me, but then I remembered the years of deception she had been through, and the feeling quickly disappeared. In terms of property division, the judge strictly followed the principle of equitable distribution, even though in my heart I wanted Emma to be punished for her infidelity. Our joint property, including the house, savings, and investments, was divided equally. This means I need to use my share of the property to buy out Emma's share of the house to ensure Lily can continue to live in familiar surroundings. The judge also required Emma to pay a certain amount of child support, the amount of which was calculated based on her earning capacity rather than her actual income. When Emma mentioned that she would pay for these expenses by working, I realized that she didn't know she was unemployed yet. It was during the divorce trial that the report I sent anonymously to the kindergarten had taken effect. After conducting an internal investigation, the park decided to remove Emma from her position after concluding that her behavior was a serious breach of professional ethics. Unfortunately, the news spread quickly through our town circle of parents. In such a small community, it will be nearly impossible for Emma to find work as an ECE again. Desperate, Emma turns to Mark for help, but Mark is unable to protect himself. The comments I posted on the firm's website spread like wildfire through legal circles. Mark is losing clients, and his firm is in a serious business crisis. To make matters worse, Mark's wife filed for divorce as soon as she received the evidence I sent her. In their divorce case, the judge ruled that Mark would have to pay a sizable amount of alimony and child support, considering his high income. When Mark's parents learned of this, they were extremely disappointed in their son's behavior and cut off financial support. Mark tries to cope with these financial pressures by selling his luxury car and some of his assets, but he has been living a life of profligacy and has little savings. In desperation, he took the risk of trying to make quick money through some high-risk investments, but ended up falling into a well-designed investment fraud trap instead, losing most of his remaining funds. I've heard that Mark is now doing some manual labor and barely making ends meet. Once promising, he was now reduced to such a state. It reminds me of an old proverb, "You reap what you sow." As for Emma, she's in no better position. After losing her teaching position and having to pay her mortgage and child support, she had to take a job at a bar. However, it doesn't last long and she soon meets a scammer. The man pretended to be nice to her, tricked her into trusting him and part of her savings, and then absconded with the money. Emma's debts begin to accumulate, and she seems to be in a financial rut that is hard to get out of. Watching my once beloved wife and best friend end up in such a situation left me with mixed feelings. I did get some level of justice, but it didn't make me feel much joy or fulfillment. Instead, I felt a deep sense of exhaustion and emptiness. However, whenever I see Lily's innocent smile, I know that what I'm doing is worth it. Lily is growing up healthy and happy, and that is my greatest comfort. I decided to devote more time and energy to Lily's upbringing. I negotiated with my company to work less overtime so that I could be with Lily on the weekends. We went on picnics in the park, participated in all sorts of fun bonding activities, and even started learning to bake. Watching Lily concentrate on framing the cupcakes made me feel a happiness and satisfaction I've never felt before. Even though I haven't told Lily the real reason for the divorce, she seems to sense a change in the family. One night while I was reading her a bedtime story, Lily suddenly hugged me and said, "Daddy, I love you. I'm glad to be with you." At that moment, I felt my eyes moisten. I hugged Lily tightly and whispered, "Daddy loves you too, baby. You're the most important person to Daddy. I know that there may be many more challenges on the road ahead, but as long as I have Lily by my side, I have the courage and strength to face them all. Together we will create new, wonderful memories and build a happy life that belongs to us as father and daughter." This difficult experience made me realize that the most precious thing in life is not money or social status, but sincere feelings and the company of family. Despite the loss of my wife and friends, I gained a deeper emotional connection with my daughter. This is perhaps another compensation that fate has given me. As time went on, my life gradually moved into a new orbit. Even though the divorce and ensuing changes have hit me hard, I find myself slowly adjusting to this new reality. Lily is now 9 years old and she needs my love and support more than ever. I try to balance work and family life and make sure I can be a part of every important moment in her life. We spent many good times together, building a tree house in the backyard, attending her ballet performances, and exploring new knowledge at the Science Museum on weekends. Watching Lily grow up in this loving environment has been incredibly rewarding. However, life isn't always smooth sailing. Sometimes I still feel a pang of heartache when Lily asks why her mom doesn't live with us. I try to explain it in a way that she can understand, that mommy and daddy have some adult issues to work through, but we all still love her. Nevertheless, I knew that one day I would need to tell her the whole truth. I just hope that when that day comes, she is mature enough to understand and accept this complex reality. Emma's visitation rights continue, albeit infrequently and always under supervision. At first, these meetings were fraught with awkwardness and tension, but over time we both learned to be polite and restrained for Lily's sake. I've noticed that Emma seems to have become more humble and introspective than ever before. She now works for a small accounting firm, trying to rebuild her life. As for Mark, our paths never crossed again. As far as I know, he left the town and moved to another city to start over. I used to think that losing my best friend would leave me with a huge void, but in fact, I find myself building new, more genuine friendships. I joined a support group for single fathers where I met people with similar experiences. We support each other, share parenting experiences, and sometimes organize playdates for the kids. At work, I got an unexpected promotion. My supervisor said he has noticed that I have shown great resilience and focus over the past year. It made me realize that despite the tremendous upheaval in my personal life, these challenges have also made me stronger in some ways. However, not all wounds heal easily. Some nights, when Lily was sleeping peacefully, I would sit on the swing in the backyard and think back. All those once fond memories are now clouded over, making me wonder if I really knew the woman I spent 12 years of my life with. I began to reflect on whether there were any signs I had ever ignored. Was I neglecting our relationship in some way? These questions sometimes keep me up at night. But I also realize that dwelling on the past won't change anything. Life goes on, and it is my responsibility to create a positive, healthy environment for Lily to grow up in. I started trying new things, learning to cook, taking yoga classes, and even signing up for a weekend woodworking class. These new hobbies have not only enriched my life, but have also given me the opportunity to meet some new people. In the process, I slowly learned to forgive. It's not just about forgiving Emma and Mark, it's about forgiving yourself. I've come to realize that even though their betrayal has caused me great harm, resentment will only continue to drain me. I choose to put that energy into something more meaningful, being a better father, a better person. One day, while Lily and I were having a picnic in the park, I met a single mom named Sarah. Her son Tom and Lily became fast friends. Sarah and I chatted while the kids played. We found we had a lot in common with each other, and not just because we were both single parents. I was impressed with her sense of humor and positive attitude towards life. Over time, Sarah and I warmed up to each other. We started taking the kids out together a lot, and sometimes on solo dates. Lily seemed to like Sarah too, which was a relief. Of course, we're all very careful not to rush things. We've all been through emotional trauma and know that it takes time to build trust. Now, standing at the other end of this difficult journey, I look back with great emotion. I lost the partner and best friend I thought I would have for life and experienced the pain of betrayal. But I have also gained so much: a deeper emotional connection with my daughter, a deeper understanding of myself, and courage and strength in the face of adversity. I don't know what the future holds. Maybe Sarah and I will move forward with our relationship, maybe not. Perhaps there will be new challenges awaiting me. But I know that no matter what happens, I am capable of facing it. Because now, more than ever, I know myself, I'm stronger, and I appreciate the things that really matter in life. Most importantly, I know I will never feel alone as long as I have Lily by my side. She is the greatest blessing in my life and sustains me as I move forward. I look forward to every moment of our future as I watch her grow day by day. Whatever else life brings, I'm ready for a new chapter. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have a story to share about your own or someone else's experience, please feel free to contact me. Take care.